What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. So today, a bit of a controversial video, which we do love doing on the channel. However, this one is my brutally honest feedback and thoughts on the new mobile game, DC Legends, which actually isn't a new mobile game. It's been out as DC Comics Legends for about a year and a half now, since July 2015 in New Zealand, and recently it's been brought to a global market and kind of remarketed, re-advertised. And I wanted to, sit down and tell you guys what I think about this game from somebody that's level 40, invested about 48 to 72 hours actually playing the game, so quite a bit of time. I just wanted to give my perspective. Now, I'm going to start off by saying, if you like DC Legends, if you're just looking for a fun game to pick up for a few hours, just play with the characters, you might have a good time. I really enjoyed it at first until I downloaded Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and looked at kind of a similar style of game, a turn-based action game, and what that game has achieved in like 12 months. And this is one of the big problems about DC Legends, is it doesn't have much to do, and I don't really see it going anywhere. So DC Legends at the moment has 3 modes of gameplay. You've got Story Campaign, which has 8 chapters, so they both have normal and heroic. The only difference between normal and heroic is roughly about 20 to 30% more difficult in terms of stats, and they also reward fragments for the heroes. But that's kind of it. There isn't really too much to the story, and then outside of that you have Arena, which again is very limited, and especially during the earlier brackets, you're just finding the same champions over and over again, becomes incredibly repetitive. And then outside of that, you only have timed events, which, you can only, until you're like max level, which is going to take a very, very long time, you only do 1 or 2 levels, and they're quite simple, they're quite boring, again, very much like the story quest, there isn't much to them. And one of the problems that I have with this game is looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, I'm level 40 now, I can pretty much do everything in the game. Like, what's next? What is encouraging me to progress? What is that character on the stick? What's going to keep players coming back? And at the moment, that game doesn't have that, which is pretty bad for a launch of a game, not having kind of that end game available, or at least not that I'm aware of, everything in here is just coming soon, and from what I've done looking up online, it doesn't seem like there is anything else to the game apart from a very simple storyline, arena, and some timed events that rotate in and out. And that's incredibly disappointing. One of the things, looking at other games like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and Marvel Contest of Champions, games that I think are really well designed, have a good and dedicated development team behind them. One of the things that really enticed me to get invested in those games and play them quite a lot was having that end game, having the carrot on the stick, knowing that building up this roster of incredible heroes and champions would eventually, lead me to, doing this incredible feat of achievement like fighting Thanos or Maestro, Realm of Legends, Labyrinth of Legends. And just this game doesn't have anything like that, and that's really, demotivating. I'm like, okay, well, why should I spend what's going to be a few months continually farming the same routes and maps for these champions, which essentially, what am I going to do with? Just, do some more repetitive arena that I don't really find that fun? So overall, again, this is actually quite a quick review of the game. The big problem is there is not very much content in the game at all, and it's good to pick up and play with for a few hours. But in terms of a long-lasting mobile game that's going to be developed on, I don't understand how they're going to get people invested in the game to actually be spending money so that they can, develop the game more and more at the moment. So that really, really baffles me. And one of the things as well is the fact that the game has been out for a year and a half worldwide, and the only thing, as far as I can see, they've managed to add in is timed events. If it's taken a year and a half to do that, I just don't see any end game or point or longevity in this game. So incredibly disappointing, because I wanted this game, I really wanted it to be good when it launched, but I just found myself so incredibly disappointed. I tried to do a couple of videos on it on the channel when it launched, but I just went back to the game and I was like, you know what, guys, this video game is not worth your time. It's not worth my time. It's just a straight disappointment. It just looks like they're trying to remarket it, rebrand it, and just chuck what little content they've done out as a cash cow. Now, I might be totally wrong about this, but this is just my perspective. The game's been out a year and a half. Like, they've added like one tiny thing into the game. A lot of the character animations, especially the new ones, the Suicide Squad ones. We looked in Joker in the last video, Suicide Squad Joker. Incredibly disappointing, and it's just so repetitive and boring. And again, guys, I don't really have like much nice to say about this game because it's fun for a few hours, but after that, it's just gonna burn you out. There's just not much to it. So overall, guys, yeah, incredibly disappointed. I wish it could have been something better, but we just got stuck with a kind of half-assed piece of crap of a game, in my opinion. But guys, if you do have any additional thoughts on this game, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Again, I'm very interested in getting other people's perspectives on this game, for people who have played it for quite a long time, as the progress from New Zealand actually did travel across into the worldwide progress, which was pretty interesting. This also means if anything competitive ever comes up in the game, that players, you know, who've been playing since the New Zealand days, a year and a half, are actually going to have a year and a half advantage over everybody else. So again, like, if they were to add new stuff, balance would always be heavily offset towards the players, you know, that have been playing this game for quite a long time. Overall, guys, yep, just disappointed. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed my opinions and insight on DC Legends. It is certainly not a Marvel Contest of Champions killer, as some YouTuber has suggested. But overall, guys, give this game a solid 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. It's fun for a couple of hours, but after that, no longevity, no end game. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Apart from that, guys, take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.